By 2001, snowboarding was booming. Thanks to its X Games exposure and '98 Nagano Olympic debut, the sport captivated young audiences, influencing snowboarding games going forward. Long-running staple Cool Boarders went for its final run, while amped freestyle snowboarding was Xbox's more realistic response to the genre's typical arcade style. THQ and Activision would also enter the space with their own takes. And with the success of 2000's SSX, EA Sports Big swiftly commissioned a sequel, improving on everything its predecessor offered, while standing out from its contemporaries. My name is OneHip, and thanks for clicking on this video. I played the Xbox version of SSX Tricky, and today I'll explore Tricky's development, gameplay, courses, soundtrack, and legacy, to find out why its personality and trick system resonated with fans. EA Canada and its creative director Steve Rechtschaffner would return to develop SSX Tricky. Originally planned as an enhanced version of the original game, it was decided during development to make it a standalone sequel. In an in-game bonus feature video, the team stated that they wanted to make Tricky stand out from the original. They adopted a design philosophy of pushing hardware limits, going bigger with gameplay, character, and level design. EA Canada wanted to enhance SSX's environments for Tricky, while introducing and redesigning features in line with their philosophy. SSX Tricky was released on PlayStation 2 on November 2001, with Xbox and GameCube versions shortly after. The series would make its way to handhelds for the first time, with a Game Boy Advance version developed by Visual Impact. The console versions released to critical acclaim, and while Tricky's added features and voice acting were lauded, critics argued that the game felt like an improved version of SSX rather than a sequel, ironically EA Canada's original intention. And after playing the game for the first time in years, Tricky felt different enough for me to disagree with this consensus. At Garibaldi's starting gate, a funky goofball named Eddie mocks a mean-looking Luther before taking off.
Hey Luther! How'd you fit that board in your trailer? You smell like the seat of my swamp buggy, wimp.
Carving down the course felt tighter as I nailed tricks, and maxing out my boost meter unlocked uber tricks to the sound of Run DMC's 1987 hit, It's Tricky. With tempting button prompts in my line of sight, I busted out outrageous stunts for more points. Landing 5 uber tricks in an event later on gave me unlimited boost as I sped towards the finish line. For my playthrough, this mechanic would change everything. As I progressed through the quarterfinal to win, I felt that the timing windows for trick windups and landing were more generous than before. I'd go on to win my first gold medal, unlocking new gear and stats as I checked off tricks in my trick book. But before I took this early glory, I restarted the final after finishing outside the top 3, no longer having to start the whole series again like an SSX. At the finish line, Luther would respond to Eddie's taunt, setting up a rivalry which would carry forward into the rest of the World Circuit campaign. Eddie's actions would feed into Tricky's rivalry system, a feature that can determine if a race will go smoothly. While friends can aid you, enemies will do everything they can to take you out of the race. And these relationships can turn, depending on your character's actions. Will you betray your friend by knocking them down for an advantage? Or will you leave your enemy alone to fill your boost meter? This risk and reward system reflects Tricky's tense but fun gameplay. Iconic courses like Snowdream and Tokyo Megaplex return with more hazards and shortcuts, making each run in a race, show-off, or time challenge feel different. If you've ever played the original SSX, there's a sense of familiarity, but these redesigns add a fresh twist to what came before. Freeride mode is an excellent way to explore and discover different routes. But I didn't just carve through the classics. Tricky also offers some new locations, like Starter Course Garibaldi, as well as Alaska, World Circuit's grand finale. And Tricky's version of Untracked, an unlockable freeride course, gave me a taste of SSX3's open world design that would redefine the series 2 years later. Like its gameplay and course design, Tricky elevates SSX's personality through its eccentric but endearing characters. Riders from the first game return as even more exaggerated versions of themselves, while new characters like the erratic Simon bolster this diverse roster. Watching each of these personalities interact with one another makes them more than just caricatures. What I love most about them is that they'll show a tough bravado on the outside, but also at times a vulnerable side. For example, Zoe hates weakness as she dishes out harsh comments to rivals.
So I guess they got rid of the rule book.
Hey! Where's the love?
Making her appear to be a tough, no-nonsense competitor. But when no one else is around, she'll be much harder on herself if she bails or misses a checkpoint.
What a train wreck.
This dichotomy shows that Tricky's characters are more than just their exaggerated personalities. They're real people trying to become world champion. Tricky has that EA Sports big identity, a bold colour palette, exaggerated character animations, an arcade atmosphere, and stylised menus. Riders in the character select screen are waiting to be picked, with some relaxing in their booth, while others are hyping themselves up. During races, riders will compliment or taunt rivals depending on their relationship, and they'll pump their fists in the air after nailing an uber trick. Pre- and post-race cutscenes, as well as an energetic announcer, show that these are grand spectacles with a beginning, middle and end, rather than just what happens between the start and finish line. This presentation amplifies Tricky's energy and style, and its soundtrack is inseparable from the elements that make Tricky an excellent game. Thanks for still being here with me. I hope you're enjoying this one. If you want to see new content, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Thanks for your support as always, and anyway, back to the video. SSX Tricky's soundtrack is a mix of prominent genres at the time, like electronica, big beat, and hip-hop. It's Tricky by Run DMC, the game's namesake, gained newfound popularity when Tricky was released, and it's become a fan favourite. I love hearing it when layered over an existing track. Tracks from artists like Rasmus and Mixmaster Mike make up a playlist that add to Tricky's high-energy atmosphere. But the game's audio experience was more than just its playlist. Big brought in a star-studded cast for the voice acting, most notably David Arquette as Eddie and Lucy Liu as Elise, who bring their own energy to this already atmospheric title. And play-by-play announcer Razel returns to call out tricks and comment on how you're doing.
That's the way we like it.
With everything that the game has to offer, SSX Tricky is an excellent sequel, which is still looked back on fondly today. Upon release, reviewers saw SSX Tricky as an expansion for the original game, a PS2 launch title, rather than a full-fledged sequel. While this was EA Canada's original intention, their ambition inspired them to change their direction for this game. They improved on SSX's gameplay, characters, and level design, while adding features like Uber tricks that would become synonymous with the franchise. Despite comparisons with the original, Tricky was praised for the same features that EA Canada implemented that made it stand out from what came before. The game is remembered fondly for these improvements, giving players an experience that no other snowboarding game had delivered. There have been requests for a remake from die-hard fans, wishing for the return of a series that brought innovations to the genre. Features like Uber tricks and the untracked course would evolve in the next SSX game, one that would take everything introduced in the first two titles to go even bigger than before. Tricky acted as a bridge between the foundation of SSX and the scope of SSX 3, while still being a memorable title on its own. What surprised me about Tricky was the depth of its characters. What could have been footnotes during development evolved into an unforgettable cast of characters, with their own personalities and dynamic rivalries that can change after each event. Combining this with everything else Tricky offered makes it a classic that I'll definitely go back to in future. SSX Tricky represented EA Sports Big's philosophy of arcade gameplay and loud and colourful presentation, becoming one of the label's defining games. Tricky captured that larger-in-life spectacle that conventional sports games couldn't replicate. And for that, it's an uber sequel, and an excellent title in its own right.